Hello, welcome to SimUK. This is Rescue HQ, the Tycoon. It is a casual indie simulation strategy game developed by Still Alive Studios and published by Aerosoft. The game fully releases about 6 days from now on the 28th of May 2019. Still Alive Studios are well known for their Bus Sim 16 and 18 titles and Son of Nor, which is a game I haven't played, but I can definitely vouch for their current improvements in their game releases from 16 to 18. Definitely this company is one heading in the right direction in my humble opinion. I don't currently have a price that I can tell you about, that is to be confirmed, but I would say, having played this game for a good couple of hours now, anything under £20 would be a good price. I think £15 would be an absolute bargain. So I'll start off as per usual with a quick review for those of you with short attention spans or just short on time, and then if you want to learn more about the game, just keep watching, keep listening afterwards. This is an objective-led game which requires you to design, manage and maintain all three of the main emergency services, that's fire, police and ambulance. Each of these services have their own training requirements, equipment, facilities and vehicles, but things like toilets, beds and kitchen areas, they're all shared, and what's more, they must all be connected. The primary focus is responding to emergencies in time and with the right number of personnel and tools on board. There seems to be a decent array of emergencies to respond to, which then get progressively more difficult and demanding as time goes on. And there are also some special events which add an additional layer of difficulty to personnel management. I have to say, I am so impressed with the level of detail behind each emergency service's vehicle and equipment needs. Multi-layered management is going to be required at each stage. In order to successfully resolve incidents, you will need to have a variety of skills, equipment and vehicles accessible to you at that moment in time. To obtain them, you will need to earn reputation points, which can be used to then unlock new features and equipment. It's something of a balancing act, but the easy level seems pretty achievable, albeit quite demanding at times. In order to gain these reputation points, you need to successfully achieve or complete some of these incidents. The game gets pretty darn hectic, I have to say, and all of your initial building's design will eventually need to be rethought and most likely rebuilt or redesigned many times over. Thankfully, the building mechanics behind this game are extraordinarily good. Quite literally, I could say it's the best I have ever seen. Completely destroying and then redesigning your base is so simple that it becomes a pleasure rather than a chore, something which most RTS games really struggle with. There really isn't anything that I can say which is overly negative about this game. Sure, there's lots more that could and perhaps, arguably, should be done with this game, but with DLCs that could be easily achieved. However, the ability to include mods with the Steam Workshop makes this game so much better already, and the possibilities are very exciting. What I'd like to see added to the game, just based on the couple of hours that I've managed to play it so far, may be the inclusion of the Coast Guard. Yes, that rather unheard of or rarely spoken about 4th emergency service. They do such an impressive and important job. I think that adding them to this game would be a good idea. I also think that there should be a maintenance area for vehicles, like a garage repair area, if you will. This could be something that you pay for or buy or introduce completely off screen, therefore saving FPS. The manual way of doing it at the moment is fine to start with, but I think as you progress and build much bigger complex systems, then an automated mechanical repair shop would probably be a good idea. I also think more could be done with training. There are special skills that certain characters can pick up, and from what I've seen so far, it appears that it's kind of random who gains what skills. It would be much better, I think, if you could have specific training that you manage yourself, if you send somebody to get specific training, they then become unavailable. I believe that more could also be done with the emergencies themselves. At the moment, it's difficult to know which emergencies were successful and which ones were failures. I'd like to see more detailed feedback in that regard. I would like to see incidents with specific needs requiring those skills in order to successfully complete them. I do think that this is loosely applied at the moment, but more could be done. It's quite possible that the harder levels actually implement this to a higher degree, but I'm still quite having a lot of fun playing the very first mission, so I'm open to the fact that this may already be implemented. I just haven't got that far into the game yet. An example, if you need one for an area where this could be implemented, is requiring a high performance vehicle and a skilled driver in order to catch joyriders. Also, I've noticed that your staff can get injured, which is a great feature. I like that. It's very realistic. But then they don't appear to use the medical facilities that you have available in order to get better. I think this is maybe something that they could and arguably should implement. So guys, that is the quick review. If you want more info, please keep watching and be sure to look out for SimUK's newest channel, SimUK Strategy, where you can see Rescue HQ gameplay and more of your favourite RTS games too. Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe, and if you can spare just a couple of quid to support SimUK, I would appreciate it massively, and in all honesty, we will not survive without it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful for you, and please, if you're going to keep watching, enjoy the rest of the video. Otherwise, goodbye for now. I would say that Rescue HQ's UI is fairly intuitive. Some areas could be improved regarding screen space and layout, but on the most part it's clear, concise and easy to use. There are a lot of items and upgrades available in this game, which is a good thing, but I think there needs to be a bigger space in order to clearly and helpfully display them all. At the moment it's too restricted and confined, being all held over on that thin side menu bar. This is beta, and therefore there are some issues when, for example, moving or deleting chairs, but mostly it is in very good working order. I would just like to see some slight changes to the layout and the overlays. Some of the info panels deserve and indeed require bigger windows in order for you to be able to clearly see what you're looking at. The in-game tutorial is a as you play kind of tutorial. It kind of guides you along. It doesn't get in the way too much, and there's some light humour injected along the way, and it gets you up and running pretty quickly. However, the tutorial is lacking a bit. As things start to get serious or more difficult, you're pretty much on your own. Repairing vehicles, for example, is a manual process, but that's not explained in the tutorial. And because you're so busy doing all the other things and trying to figure out how the game works, you don't really have time to figure it out. I spent a long time buying new vehicles, unaware that the damaged vehicles were not being repaired. When I finally figured it out, the game became an awful lot easier. There's also some built-in logic restrictions within the tutorial, which means that you can easily progress far beyond where the tutorial currently is, which means you're also going to miss out on important guidance along the way, and then way after the fact, it will say, for example, build a restroom for your staff to use the toilet, etc. But that's something that you've already done ages ago, so you immediately complete it and on to the next thing. I just think this could be slightly better implemented, but you know, it's okay. It will get you where you need to get to. So the tutorial does need to be better. An immediate guide, what does what, where, how, especially how to repair vehicles and things like that. It would be nice to have the tutorial spoken. That's always a preference of mine, but as it is, there's not too much text and you can read it quite easily, and it works just about. Graphically, I'd say the game does the job. There's nothing groundbreaking here, but it's quaint and I really quite like it. There are some beta issues. I noticed people showering while still wearing their clothes, leaving the building via the window rather than the doorway, just a few minor bugs like that, nothing really serious. One thing I would like to see regarding controls is more control over the game's graphics in the menu system. That could really help those with slower PCs. I didn't really have any performance issues at all, but I did once get a low FPS warning. But in all honesty, despite getting that warning, I didn't really notice anything at the time. So the game seems to run very well indeed. There are a lack of controls, which I've just mentioned, which could potentially help those with slower PCs. So I'd like to see that added in the settings if possible. Audio does exist in game, and the closer you zoom in, the clearer and louder the audio can be heard. It's a good thing then you can zoom out again and not have to hear it quite so loud, because the audio in this game is not great. There could be some better audio for alerts and the in-game immersion, and it would be greatly appreciated if they could give the audio an overhaul. It's perfectly adequate as it is. It just could easily be much, much better. So the game's pretty realistic, it's pretty fun, and yes, I think it has a lot of replayability. At the moment there are 5 progressively harder challenges that you can play. Each of them can last up to, and maybe even beyond, sort of the 5 or 10 hour mark, depending on how quickly you play and or how quickly you want to achieve things. And there are a decent collection of events which make the game more challenging, and I also like that a great deal. The attention to detail regarding equipment is impressive, but I would like to see more done to require that the correct equipment is used in order to successfully complete certain challenges. Maybe this gets more difficult in later levels, I don't know. Modding has been included, which totally opens the doors to new maps, new features. This is a great bonus for the game. They really have learnt their mistake from Bus Sim 16, and I'm glad to see that implemented at launch. Occasionally the game will have grindy periods. It's not too bad, and it's mostly brought on, or for me at least, it was mostly brought on from my own confusion. I mentioned earlier broken vehicles not being fixed, me not realising how to repair them, and of course poor forward planning. You will eventually realise that you need more space for the equipment, etc. My conclusion for this game: this is brilliant fun. There is an awful lot of depth to the game, and there's loads to get your teeth into. The building mechanics are exceptionally good. It looks nice, it plays nice, it doesn't sound quite so good, but I have had hours of fun on just the first easy level, which isn't technically that easy, but overall I guess it is quite simple to progress with. Some small, almost insignificant bugs do exist, but it's beta, so I honestly think they're not going to be an issue at release. I like this game very, very much, and I think you will too. Maybe they could implement multiple tiers for buildings, so you're not building out as much as you are building up. Maybe this would affect FPS, but I don't know, because obviously as you move up the levels, the people moving around or milling about on the ground floor would not be visible. I don't know how well that would work, but it's something that they could potentially include. I've mentioned earlier I'd like to see Coast Guards included in the game. Let me know your thoughts on that. I'd like to see bigger map spaces, and with the modding community in full flow, maybe that's something we'll see sooner rather than later. Maybe there could be an option to turn off or completely remove the characters milling about. It is nice to see, but having a bigger, more complex system might be even more engaging, certainly for some people. I think the game's management aspect is so good that it could work even without the visual implementation of players walking around and doing their jobs. But I have to say, it is jolly nice to see them walking around and doing things properly. So that's pretty much it from me, guys. What do you think could be added to this game in the future? Let me know in the comment section below. Maybe the devs will implement it. This is a really good quality game. I cannot recommend it highly enough. I think it's a lot of fun. If you're into this type of thing, you're going to absolutely love this. The fact that modding is going to be available is a real massive bonus for me. New maps, new challenges, new options. Brilliant. What's not to like? If this game is priced realistically around about £20, anything over that, it starts sort of rubbing against the issues that there are or the limitations that there are in the game. But if this game is up for sale around about the £20 mark, £15 would be an absolute steal. Let's keep our fingers crossed. I do not know what the price is going to be, so I'm completely guesstimating, and I hope they price it realistically. Thank you guys for watching. Take care of yourselves. Until next time, goodbye.